Welcome to the Real P&L Trading Show, where I share my real P&L on 3 accounts, and I share my proprietary Safe Wheel Options Trade system for free. Please type in the chat that you can hear me okay. I want to make sure that my audio is working. And also, be sure to post any questions you might have about any of the trading systems I'm doing or anything about options. If you have any questions about that, make sure to post those questions early rather than later. That way I can get to them before the end of the broadcast. Okay, first we're going to talk about, I'm assuming you can hear me. First, we're going to talk about the earnings edge. What happened with the earnings edge? So last week, Will says loud and clear. Thank you, Will. Appreciate that. Last week, here's the earnings edge account, 10,799, right? And last week, there were no trades that had fit through all the filters. We're kind of in a low point of earnings season. I think it's coming up here, April 1st. So there's not a lot of trades going in, stocks or companies going into earnings. So there's not a lot to choose from. But once we get into earnings season, there's going to be plenty. So there was not a trade last week. Let's take a look at the spreadsheet here. So with the earnings edge, I've got, since I did my last tweak to the system, that was in October 2022, I've got 20 wins, 18 losses, and 5 break evens. You can see my average win, 882, average loss about 516. And I wonder what SPY is trading. SPY is trading at 520.70. Let me put that in here. 520.7, and what was this spreadsheet needs to be updated a little bit. My net lick here, 10,799. Okay, 10,799. So let me go pull that spreadsheet back up. Okay, so we can see how we did. The earnings edge did in 2022, vastly outperformed the S&P, and then in 2023, you can see the S&P did quite well and outperformed the earnings edge. And then in 2024 so far, the earnings edge is up about 13% compared to the S&P is up almost 10%, 9.5%. So overall, you can see that the earnings edge is up 116% versus 9.63 since the beginning of 2022. So the S&P 500 has recovered since the end of 2021. It took a couple of years, and now it's up around 9.5%. And you can see my net liquidation here. Okay, let's get into the earnings edge. Get into the earnings edge account. And that would be this one here. You can see my net lick, 33,596. I'm going to put that into the, and you can see here also everything that I'm trading. I'm trading the options on the E-minis and T-bills, right? This is the Premier Level 5. Let's see. 23 wins, 9 losses, 11 break evens, 4 open trades. I have about 1/3 the drawdowns in live trading, probably closer to 1/4. So on a risk adjusted basis, this is doing quite well. And what did I say my net lick was? 33,596. Okay, so down about 4.3%. You can see what happened. I opened this thing up at April 8th, 2022, and you can see it outperformed the S&P in 2022 and then underperformed in 2023, and now underperforming underperforming in 2024. I'm up about 12%. The market's up 28% since April 8th of 2022. And again, risk adjusted basis, you can multiply this by about 3 or even 4. So, really it's about a 33% versus 27. So it's pretty close. on a risk-adjusted basis. Interesting that this particular system's down. Uh, hasn't been down in a long time, and this is probably the largest drawdown that I've seen with the system overall. And again, because my drawdowns are low, I'll be able to dig out of that hole pretty easily. I need to drop the S&P to draw down like 5%, and then I'll probably fully kind of catch up there. But S&P since November hasn't drawn down at all. I mean, maybe 1%, maybe 2. And it's been what, November, December, January, February, March, April. So what, 5 months since we've had any significant drawdown with the S&P 500. Okay, so that is the Premier Level 5. Now, by the way, the Earnings Edge, if you're interested in getting the course, I open the cart. I only open the cart maybe once every 2 or 3 or 4 months. And the cart happens to be open right now, and it's going to be open till the end of today only. So if you're interested in the Earnings Edge, you have until the end of today to sign up for that. And there'll be a link in the description. Even if it says, and the link in the description, if it says to sign up for the waiting list, just go ahead and get on that waiting list there, and you'll find the link there. If you don't find the link, let me know through email. Okay, so now let's get to the safe wheel. What's going on with the safe wheel? So here's the safe wheel account. You can see I've traded DKNG and LI. LI pretty much breaking even, and made some money this year on DKNG. Here's my net liquidation, 68.92. Let's put that in the spreadsheet. 68.92. And you can see here, keeping up with the S&P this year, 2022 vastly outperformed, underperformed in 2023. And overall, since I started this account with $5,000 in January 2022, and I've shown my P&L every week and shown every trade I've made, except for the $5 long on Fridays, because I don't show that, but what I'm doing. You see it in my account. Up 38% versus 10% with the S&P. So outperforming the S&P. The drawdowns are only about half too. So on a risk-adjusted basis, the safe wheel is vastly outperforming the S&P 500. So it's a pretty good system. And let's see what we need to do today. I'm going to go to activity and positions. LI. And the reason why I don't share my P&L fully now is because when I press this thing, it kind of takes up the whole screen, and I need to hide my accounts. And if I put a little marker over all these, you wouldn't be able to see my full net liquidation. So they increased it recently when Toss did an update. They made this thing way bigger. It used to be smaller and easier to hide, but now I have to go like this to show you my net lick. Okay. So here, I own 100 shares. Let's see, on last Friday, I bought the 35.50 call that expires in 3 days. So I think Friday must be a holiday, because usually this is a 4-day thing. So maybe we're coming into Good Friday. Yeah, because Easter, I believe, is on Sunday. So, yes, this is only going to be for 3 more days. I bought this call last Friday. It cost me $6. Now it's worth $4. And then I also have my put hedge here. So I want to look at my put hedge. I want to make sure a couple things about it. One, that it's 100 days or over, and it is. And then also that the $28 put is close enough to the actual price of LI. It's got to be within 70%. So 31 times 0.7. It's 22. So it's well within $22 of that $28. So you can see my put hedge is getting closer to the actual price of the underlying. And we'll see how that reflects the system. So I own 100 shares. I want to sell a covered call at the 3650 level or greater. Let's see if I can do that. And I want to do it in this nearest expiration cycle. So here are the calls, 3650. I can't even get, 2 or 3 cents. I want to get at least, what, $30, $32, somewhere in there. But I can't get anything. I can't get any premium here. I'm stuck. I have a wounded soldier. Okay. So I'm not going to sell a covered call and get called away and lose money on owning the stock. Therefore, what I need to do is open up a new position. So the way the system's set up is if I open another position, so I can open up 2 at the most, my put hedge will become closer and closer to the money, and it'll be more and more powerful as I add risk to the trade. So I'm going to add risk to the trade by adding a second tier. Now, if I wanted to trade, if I want to sell a put, because that's what I'm going to do, I could possibly get enough premium right here at the 29.50 level because it's around $30, 31. That's what the price of the underlying. So I could go here, and then I'd like to go one closer. So I'm going to sell the $30 put, and I'm going to do one of those because I'm going to open up a new tier. Now, one thing I want to say is the sizing. If I'm between $5,000 and $10,000, which I am at almost 7,000, I'll do 3 put hedges and 1 traditional wheel contract. And so therefore I'm going to sell 1 put. I'm going to open up tier number 2, and it looks like 43 cents is the price that I may get, or $43. Okay, so I did get that filled at $43. I opened up a second tier because I do have room for 200 shares. So now I'm basically long 200 shares at this point. Even though I just sold this put, selling this put is technically being long the shares at $30. So I am long technically 200 shares right now, but I have a 300 share short. So I am covered. Okay, so that is the trade for today. It's just the traditional wheel opening up a new layer here. Okay, are there any questions about that? Let's see here. Jeff says, are the new systems you're working on versions of EE South SafeWheel PL5, or are they completely new? They are completely new, but I set this system up to coincide with the PL5. It's kind of an offshoot of the PL5. In other words, when there's volatility, the PL5 needs volatility. If there's no volatility, you can see what's happening. I'm drawing down 3 or 4%, not a big deal, but I'm not getting any volatility, so the system isn't giving me good returns at the moment. There will be volatility eventually. I have another system set up to where when there's not volatility, it does better. When there is volatility, it does okay. It does fine. It just takes longer to hit profit. But when there's no volatility, it does quite well. So I've kind of done something to counteract or to complement the PL5. So it's meant to go with the new system is going to complement the PL5, but it is very, very, very different than the PL5 in terms of trade structure and trade plan and everything like that. Okay, the Fat Man. Hey, just found out about you. You seem legit. What do you primarily trade? Stocks, Forex, crypto, or something else? Or are you all over the place and trade everything? I trade options. There's an edge in options. Okay, I don't see any edge in picking a direction in being like a day trader. There's an edge. It's the implied volatility versus the real volatility. There's an edge there if you sell premium, but you need to do it in such a way And you don't want to use traditional trade structures like iron condors and symmetrical butterflies and things like that, because those really don't take advantage of the edge, because direction overpowers the edge when you use traditional trade structures. That's why I use the PL5, which is a proprietary trade structure that can take advantage of the premium seller's edge. You also need to be prepared for crashes. Most, I'd say 95 to 98% of option premium sellers that are taking advantage of the edge are not prepared for a crash. So you need to also be prepared for a crash. And the best way to do that is to be long volatility, because volatility is the only asset that increases in a crash guaranteed. So that kind of is a ballpark idea there, Fat Man. That's an interesting name. Jeff, if I enrolled in the PL5, would I automatically be enrolled in the new system when it comes out? No, that's the new system that comes out. It's going to be a separate system. I am going to make the PL5 a prerequisite of that system. So I want you, my students, to understand and know and be involved with the PL5 before they move on to the next system that I have, because again, they complement each other, and the portfolio is going to be a combination of the PL5 with the other trade that I come out with. Good question, though. Okay, I don't see any further questions or comments. I know there's a slight delay, so if you guys have any questions or comments, be sure to ask now before I end the live stream. Okay, Jeff. Okay, good. Do you still recommend David Jaffe, or have you made any money using his trading style? I like David Jaffe. I think David Jaffe is a solid person, number one, which is very rare in this industry. Very rare. And he has a decent system. And I like the way he trades. But the difference between us is the way I trade is systematic, black and white rules that you can follow on your own, as opposed to needing me to make a trade or to make you're not going to rely on me. Once you learn the PL5, you don't need me anymore, because it's a black and white system. But with other trades similar to Jaffe's, you're going to need him all the time, because he's very good and very smart about what he does. But I don't think you can duplicate what he does, but you can follow what he does, because he'll tell you what to do. So that's kind of one of the major differences. Fat Man, don't worry about my name. It's from my younger days. Thanks for the answer. You're welcome. Some guy, I think he meant to say, what will the price of the new system be? I haven't determined that yet. The system is still in R&D. Back tested, look, it's good. I'm in live trading right now. I need to see some live executions, and I need to see some things live that I see in the back test. I have certain expectations, and I need to trade it live for those expectations to come through. The trade takes, typically sometimes, 40 to 50 days to hit profit targets. So I haven't got into that time frame yet. So I'm kind of, I'm still in the research and development mode. Jeff says, I like your videos on Humble Trader, the keep trying and keep buying business model. Made me laugh. Yeah, too true, right? Keep trying and keep buying. Yeah, day trading, to me, I haven't seen anybody successfully day trade. I've seen, I can't say that I haven't seen certain people do it, but I think that they have other factors, like other people in their live stream that come in and buy behind them. So I've seen that particular factor, but other than that, I haven't seen anybody successfully day trade. Now, maybe there is somebody out there. I just haven't seen them, and they haven't come to me. And I've been asking since 2019, So what is it about coming up on 5 years? Hey, where are you? Show me your results, and don't see them. So I'm pretty skeptical about day trading and directional trading. Now, long term, buy and hold, that probably work out fine. Hold the S&P for 5 years, 10 years, you'd probably be okay. But I know that the Japanese market just barely hit new all-time highs since 1989. So, there's still some risk in there. What happened with Rockwell in the end? There is not an end right now. We're still in litigation. And that's pretty much all I can say. Can you talk a little about how well your systems do in a black swan event? Uh, yes. So, for example, the 2020. Okay, so there were a crash in August 24th, 2015, where the PL5 back tested, right? Made really good money. Um, you know, I don't know what I can't remember the numbers, but a good chunk. Maybe it made 10% or something on that day. I mean, it was something really good. And then also February 5th, 2018, very good. The system came out really strong. Now in 2020 it was interesting because there was like an 11-day period where the PL5 did draw down with the market a little bit, not all the way, but a little bit. And the first leg down maybe 5-6%, and then it turned around and came up. And it took about 12 days for those hedges to activate. But we've got some hedges in the PL5 that activate when the crashes occur. It has to do with VAMA. Um, it's basically a Vega flip. So you're short volatility, so you're going to take a little bit of a hit, but eventually the volatility rises so much that the VAMA kicks in, the longer term Vega, the exponential part of Vega turns in, and the Vega flips the volatility, flips the P&L. And that's basically black swan events. The system does quite well because we are long more puts than we are short, and we are long, we are proactively hedged, and we own puts that people are buying. When there's a black swan event, everybody wants to own what I already have, right? Humble Trader is doing videos on SMB Capital. Any thoughts on SMB? I thought SMB was interesting. They were in this, I don't know, I think it was 2011. They did a show. It was like an actual show. You probably can find it on YouTube. I'm trying to, Trading Warriors, I think it was called. Tim Sykes was in that too. And there was this girl in there that they picked to become their protege, or to become their person that they could teach, their mentee. And she put in an application, and she was up against all these other people, and she made it in, and she got the scholarship. And later, what I learned is that it actually costs money to become someone that's technically a scholarship. I don't think they give scholarships. I think you pay them to learn, but she got it in there for free. But later I saw her on one of the shows on HBO. I can't remember the name of the show, but she was an actress. But anyways, I thought that was interesting. That's what I think. When I think of SMB, I kind of think about that. Let's see. So I'm trying not to ask about that. Oh, yeah. Have you looked at Eric O'Rourke's systems? I don't think I've heard of Eric O'Rourke. So the answer would be no. Yeah, every time someone asks about it, I got to keep record of what I said. So yeah, that's why we don't talk about that. Can you show the profit graph for the safe wheel? Yes, I think so. Let's see here. Am I in the safe wheel now? Yes. There it is. See, the thing is, when you're looking at this doesn't take into account all the premium that I've sold. So positions that have come off, are not in here. And that's the problem with Thinkorswim, is it's difficult to take the positions that have already occurred. Well, I mean, you can do it. You can take the positions that have already occurred and you can put them in here. That's what I like about OptionNet Explorer. It's a little easier to do that. But here's the graph. Let me make it a little risk graph. You can see I've got probably some long delta. Let's see here. Yeah, it looks like I've got some long delta. Yeah, because I own 100 shares, and I'm also have that put, short put. So that's like 200 shares long. Will, do you get excited like George Soros when an economy is about to crash? My trades do better. I can do fine in an up market like 2021 as long as there's volatility. I'll make money. I'll make good money. But 2017, 2023, 2024, so far, no volatility is not good for the PL5. It's not like I'm hurting that bad. I mean, I'm down what, 3 or 4%. Some guy seems to show his P&L. Boomer trade. I mean, boomer trade. Who were you talking about before that? Let me see. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Used to. Yeah. Let's not get into details about that. Wall Street Warriors, right? That was the show that S&B Capital was on, and so was Tim Sykes. Wall Street Warriors. And what's that show that's on HBO about the dragons? Anyways, everybody knows the show. I just can't think of the name of it. But she was the actress in that show. She was like a princess or something. Oh, I can't remember that name of that. But anyways, I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. But yeah, you guys should check out Wall Street Warriors. It was pretty interesting. It was fun to watch. I enjoyed it. Game of Thrones. There you go. Thank you, Will. Game of Thrones. So she was in Wall Street Warriors in like 2011 as the mentee, the one that got the scholarship, even though I don't think they give out scholarships, or maybe they did back then. I don't know. They did it on the show. And then she ended up on the Game of Thrones because she's an actress. So anyways. Okay. So we got a little off topic there. Usually I like to talk about numbers and trading and things like that. All right. So I'm going to close this down a little bit. And what I always like to say in closing is, if the P&L is not real, what else are they trying to conceal? I'll be back next week. I appreciate you guys.